What's going on, folks? Welcome to the bar, and before I let everyone inside, I really hope everyone is staying safe out there because it's getting pretty wild. So while I'm at it, remember, practice social distancing. I've been doing it since 1997 when nobody showed up to my birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese's. Anywho, today is the day, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about Shirakumo Oboro and the many theories about him coming back to the side of good. But before we get started, remember, there's gonna be spoilers from My Hero Academia and My Hero Academia Vigilantes. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you can binge all of my delicious content. Now let's kick open these doors, shall we? So back in November, I did a video about Shirakumo, but during that one, I didn't have the knowledge I have now about this character. Like the fact that Shirakumo's corpse is the base for Kurogiri. I mean, I did kind of call it by saying I expected a heel turn, but for the sake of this video and for the people that may have not watched the other one, here's all you need to know about Shirakumo going forward. Before his untimely death, Shirakumo Oboro, who chose the hero name Loud Cloud, was a second-year student at UA High School. He attended UA alongside fellow second years Hisashi Yamada and Shota Aizawa, who would later go on to be known as the pro heroes Present Mic and Eraserhead. Shirakumo's quirk is an emitter-class quirk called Cloud, and Cloud gives him the ability to create thick clouds that he's able to control. As for the strength of the quirk, he was able to carry his weight and the weight of a few children. Also, the quirk enables him to fly to a certain extent, and when he's fighting, he fights with an extendable power pole similar to Goku. He also wears goggles to combat wind speed, and I guess at this point, it's a pretty good time to mention to you that the reason why Aizawa even wears goggles is because during a battle exercise against Present Mic and company, Eraserhead can't keep his eyes open while Shirakumo cloaks the battlefield with his clouds. And after their loss, due to Aizawa's hesitation, Shirakumo actually suggests the goggles to Aizawa, telling him that he won't have to worry about stuff getting in his eyes if he wears goggles. And later, they challenge Present Mic again, but they make a bet. The losers have to ditch their sunglasses and use goggles. And, if you want to know the winner, I'll just let this panel speak for itself. Also, a little quick recorded tidbit from home. The introduction of Eraserhead's goggles in Vigilantes, it's just not something to be brushed off either. They actually help set the tone for a future scene in My Hero Academia where Eraserhead pulls the goggles off of his neck and pleads with Kurogiri to remember his past self as Shirakumo. This small action performed by Eraser may be confusing to some, but if you read Vigilantes, you probably bursted into tears, as in that moment it becomes evidently clear that Shirakumo is within Kurogiri. Now, as for the elephant in the room, how he died, during a mission for their internship at His Purple Highness's agency. It was called Purple Revolution's agency, I don't know. But either way, this guy is definitely Prince, or JoJo's type of character, whichever way you want to look at it. Either way, Shirakumo protected an entire class of children during the villain Garvey's rampage, but unfortunately, part of a building was struck by Garvey's quirk stock. The building came toppling down, and unfortunately, Shirakumo gave his life for the children, and he died. Now, I'm kinda using the word died very loosely because it's been revealed that in the 15 years or so since Oboro's death, the caretaker to Tomura Shigaraki, known as Kurogiri, is none other than Shirakumo Oboro. A fun little fact for you, I actually said this in a prior video, Oboro Shirakumo vaguely translates to hazy white cloud, while Kurogiri translates to black fog. And before I get into theorizing, something actually just kinda dawned upon me as I'm doing this video right now. I kinda wonder how Present Mic feels. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he was kind of responsible for the death of Shirakumo. The blast that Garvey let off, due to his quirk, it was actually created by a group of heroes called the Buster Union, which actually featured a young Present Mic in attendance. When they fired off their attack, Garvey stocked it up and then redirected it back at them. All of these thoughts just really make me wonder though that I really hope that they expand on Shirakumo's story and hopefully Present Mic kind of plays a bigger role in that. Okay, theory time. Let's lay out some facts and questions surrounding Shirakumo's death. The two big questions that I'll be asking for this video is, 1, how did Dr. Ujiko get Shirakumo's body, and 2, why did he choose Shirakumo? The obvious answer is, after his supposed death, he was brought to the hospital, and from there, Ujiko and All For One saw a quirk that they absolutely needed to manipulate. And if I'm All For One, who is probably one of the most sadistic villains of modern time, who's a better caretaker than someone whose last thoughts were protect the children? Additionally, prior to the conversation with Kurogiri inside of Tartarus, All For One was confronted by Gran Torino, and later, when Aizawa asked Gran Torino about why All For One would do something like create a Nomu or manipulate someone like Shirakumo, We actually see in a flashback that All For One responded to Gran Torino by saying that quirk manipulation, taking people and twisting them to his will, it's like creating a fine wine. There's so many combinations and types of quirks that All For One's mouth literally waters at the thought of being able to push the boundaries of somebody's quirk. And he loves UA because UA is a breeding ground for rare quirks like Shirakumo's. Not to mention, he actually said that UA pretty much tossed Shirakumo's body in the garbage, so it was really easy to swap out. It shows that in the time that All Might has been around, the heroes have really become lax in their ways. But think of the situation like this though. Imagine if the person that died that day 15 years ago was Aizawa. Now think about this. When the students first arrived at UA, the invasion at the USJ happened. What if that Nomu had Aizawa's quirk? All might have actually died. Aizawa's quirk is a huge equalizer, and because of that, I made an audacious claim during the Plus Ultra meeting back in January that Aizawa was throwing up some serious death flags. The biggest flag for me about Aizawa is when he's talking to All Might about death. All Might wants to see these children grow, and Aizawa tries to put his thoughts at ease. I saw this as actually Aizawa looking up at the stars and kind of making peace with the universe and accepting that whatever comes may. So the answer to the second question is pretty heinous, but he chose Shirakumo because his quirk would be fun to fuck with. There's literally no other reason. Now, how could Shirakumo return? The biggest one is the obvious one. It's the one that most of you have messaged me and told me, yo, Dan, come on, man. Like, Eri. Eri is obviously the reason why Shirakumo comes back. And I get it. Eri's quirk Rewind is a rare quirk, and it has the potential of moving time through a person. Kind of similar to how Ant-Man was trying to time travel in, was it Infinity War? Not Infinity War, Endgame. So she's able to move time through people. She was able to reduce her dad into a sperm cell pretty much. So yeah, it's plausible. Her quirk could arguably age someone backwards or forwards depending on her control. Rewind is an insanely powerful quirk, and to be clear, it's the one that contributes to the quirk singularity doomsday theory that the meatball kid from Chiketsu spoke about. The concept of that theory is that all quirks progressively will get stronger and stronger until one person is born with the capability of destroying all humanity or the world. If you're familiar with Marvel Comics, think Franklin Richards, the son of Susan and Reed Richards. He was literally able to create universes. With that being said, time-based quirks are something that I kind of hope Horikoshi moves away from, as most superhero genres eventually digress into time travel, and I'd like to see Kurogiri become Shirakumo again, but with a little bit more emotion, not a whole, oh, time travel. With that being said, my thumbnail kind of gives the inkling of what I truly want to happen. My theory is that Shirakumo breaks free of Kurogiri to save Aizawa and Present Mike in a moment where they're about to be killed. Maybe during the jailbreak that I was theorizing. Because that moment when they're back in Tartarus, when they see Shirakumo's face amongst the gas of Kurogiri, they had their friend back for 30 seconds. And that's given them the truth. It's a sincere possibility they could get their friend back. Picture this in your head. Present Mike and Aizawa being killed in front of Kurogiri, and then suddenly the black fog turns blue and Shirakumo breaks free, saving Aizawa and Present Mike right as they're getting ready to knock upon death's door. I mean, come on, the villains have so many more methods of transportation than the heroes do, and they could spare to lose one. All it takes is Ujiko giving Shigaraki a teleportation quirk or creating another John-chan. Either way, the heroes need a mobility quirk, and something along the lines of Kurogiri's warp gate. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow that's a reason narratively why he would move over to the side of good. I mean, why not want something that's off the beaten path of the norm? I am kind of prone to liking unhappy endings, and one of my favorite sayings actually comes from a movie called Men in Black 3. I know, don't judge me here. But the alien in question actually says something that's pretty true about time travel, and anytime you watch something involving time travel, it tends to be kind of true. The quote is, "Where there is death, there will always be death," meaning the law of equivalent exchange. You can't just get somebody who died to come back to life. There is always a price to be paid, no matter the circumstances. Shirakumo was no exception. Yeah, it would be delightful for Aizawa to get his friend back, but if he did, I would expect Aizawa or Present Mike to die. Or even in this case, I'll take All Might's death. Yeah, think of that. Instead of Present Mike or Aizawa dying, a quirkless All Might saving the group, dying, and Kurogiri becoming Shirakumo all in the same moment. I don't think my headcanon could handle that much trauma. I know a lot of us are hoping for him to return to good old Shirakumo, but I think that's kind of pushing it. He's a corpse that somehow All For One has figured out how to reanimate, and honestly, usually people like that kinda wish for death when they become an amalgam of what they once were. I think it's likely that he might actually reside within the form of Kurogiri after being saved, and the form of Shirakumo will reside underneath the black fog of Kurogiri. What would be kinda cool though is if they figure out how to make that black fog turn into like a blue fog. That would be a killer way to bring him back to the side of good, but kind of recolor him in a scheme of a hero. Because when it boils down to who Shirakumo was, he's proven to be the ultimate optimist, and I really still hope he has the dream of becoming a hero. Even though my gut is kinda telling me he's probably gonna come back but get killed saving his friends. Shirakumo has been a severely tortured soul for 15 years, and someone like him deserves to rest in peace. If that's not the case though, and he just comes back to life and he's nursed back to health, I'm all for it, hell yeah. But there better be a betrayal amongst the heroes to even it out. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Do you think Shirakumo's gonna come back? And if he does, will he be stuck as Kurogiri, or will he go back to being regular old Shirakumo? I guess at this point, only time will tell. And until next time, wash your damn hands!